Another tip from you that was very helpful was that I was using in my logo green and yellow colors. Initially, I picked those colors because I watched a video of someone describing how you want to pop out on YouTube when it comes to your thumbnails, which is the picture that you initially see for a video. And I noticed that the color schemes were usually red or white or blue on most of the thumbnails. So I picked colors that didn't match the majority of the thumbnails out there, which were green and yellow. And it helped my thumbnails pop out. And you helped validate my initial hypothesis.
Actually, you did it for a good reason, but a different reason, because you wanted to pop out. So one of the things that people don't realize is that marketing, 80% of it, and branding is psychology. So you need to understand the psychology of your customer, not of you. I mean, as an entrepreneur, I'll come to that in a minute. But who you market to is very important to know who they are, so you know how they feel. And that's why demographics in marketing change to psychodemographics. So you need to actually know how your people are feeling and what pushes them to do certain things. So our brain entertains and explains things in a different way when it sees colors. So there is something called the meaning of colors in marketing. Thankfully, you have chosen the right colors because you're talking about nutrition, you're talking about natural food that comes from the earth or ground, and the earth is green. And then you're talking about getting better. So you have the yellow, which is the sun rays and the optimism. So every color has a meaning. So one of the things that I share with my clients is like, do not use a lot of black in your website. Some people have that background all black. Don't do that. People will bounce like that from your website. And then you start wondering, why is my bounce rate 90%? It's because of your background. Because the black background looks at someone as like someone is judging you, or it's a judgment against you, or it's a block, or it's sadness. The other color that you can use, but not everywhere, is the red color. People think, well, it's love, it's passion. Yes, but it's also danger. It's also stop. It's also fire. It's also the blood color. So there is a lot of things that are associated with colors. Like, for example, the restaurants have their walls in a certain color because that color initiates the hunger centers in the brain. The bars have a different wall color because that color initiates a difference in the center of thirst in the brain. And that's why we have to be mindful of the colors that we choose about our brand and in marketing that we use.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of fast food restaurants use red and yellow. McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, In-N-Out, all these are red and yellows. I was wondering why that is. Does it create hunger when we look at those colors?
Well, yellow does, or the cream color. Red is to attract attention. Because the eye, whatever it moves, if there is something red, it will acquire your eye right away. And if you notice, the red is not everywhere. It's not Coca-Cola, for example, where everything is red. So I have a lot of clients that basically argue the fact, like, what about Coca-Cola? They're all red. So my answer to this, unfortunately, you're not Coca-Cola. And I don't mean it in a diminishing way or in a demeaning way, but we need to understand that when we start, we cannot compare ourselves with someone like Coca-Cola in certain things, but we can compare ourselves to big corporations or big organizations so we can become like them. And what I mean is, Coca-Cola started hundreds of years ago or 100 years ago. Marketing was different. Meanings were different. There was no internet, and they already have a recognizable brand. So already we grew up knowing that Coca-Cola is red. You know what I mean? So it's something that we are already absorbed without really thinking about it. So yes, we need to compare ourselves as sustainability, as big organizations, but there are things that we need to be smart about, specifically when we start.
Yeah, I mean, who knew that color schemes were so important? But you just need a mentor who can teach you or coach you these things, because guaranteed entrepreneurs are stumbling along the way, fixing this, fixing that, and it's much easier to grow faster with a mentor alongside you.
Absolutely. And a website, remember, website needs to be refreshed all the time. So that's why the content that you're putting is helping you get discovered. Because when you keep putting fresh content, you are sending a signal to Google, telling Google, hey, I have fresh content, come and look at what I have. So it marks to Google that you are important to check. And that's why your SEO becomes better and you can rank higher. Of course,
Yeah.
depending on the content that you put. I mean, it's not like any content that you put that Google is going to look at as important. It has to have value and it has to be put the right way with the right keywords.